Welcome. This is a data training video for the 25-27 Re-Engagement Opportunity Grant. The presentation will cover an overview and important general concepts for both new and returning ROG grantees who collect and report re-engagement data. Okay, so let's begin. Data reporting consists of both outreach counts and a data report. The data report uses individual level data, is reported quarterly with some additional elements captured annually, and will be reported through the online platform Smartsheet Go. This presentation will primarily focus on the data report. So at this point, just to mention that there are data reporting resources, and accessing those might actually give a little bit more context to even this overview if you're brand new to re-engagement. And another thing to note is that we do add resources throughout the biennium to the re-engagement data reporting dashboard. Okay, it's really important to read for both new and returning grantees the entire data manual. And so you might be wondering, which participants do I put on the data report? And so you're going to put all eligible youth who you serve under YDD re-engagement funding. Okay, and so you do not include all the youth that you conduct outreach to, only the youth that enroll in programming. And just a quick note for returning grantees, be sure to include the youth who are returning from last year, who are active and seeking their high school credential, and also include any active youth from last year in follow-up. Be sure to note the service and time limitations in the data manual for that group of youth. Okay, so participant data reporting can be reduced to these steps. Step 1, enter any eligible youth that started receiving grant-funded services in the 3-month reporting period. Be sure to complete all youth characteristics at start date. Step 2, for all inactive youth, that's any youth who stopped receiving grant-funded services in the 3-month reporting period, enter their end date and all end date statuses. Then, at the end of year 1 and end of year 2, to produce the annual report, there's a couple other steps. For quarter 4 reporting, follow step 1, adding new youth throughout the 3 months reporting quarter, and step 2, marking anybody as inactive who ceases their participation in the program, and add step 3, which is you will provide all end of year 1 statuses for all active youth. Similarly, in quarter 8 reporting, follow steps 1 and 2, and then add step 4. And step 4 is you will provide both an end date and all end of year 2 statuses for all active youth. Okay, so we'll move on to some important concepts. The data report is cumulative, so it's added to, never deleted. This means that a single data report is used for all reporting periods, quarter 1 through quarter 8. We might be referring to the data report as a quarter 2 report or the Q3 data report, but just keep in mind that the data report is a single cumulative spreadsheet that you continue to add to throughout the biennium. Another important concept is youth ID. So youth ID is a single unique ID that's used for each youth. Don't use multiple youth IDs for a single youth, just one. Please note that schools and ESDs are required to use the youth's ODE SSID number, And entities without access to the ODE SSID number can create a unique identifier for each participant consisting of letters and or numbers in any combination. All right, rows. So the rows in the data report represents a period of participation. And this is determined by the start and end dates, which must fall within the biennium. And so we have year one or program year one and year two, program year two dates up here on the slide. And you can see that they run from July to June. So remember, the start date is the date the youth began receiving grant funded services, and the end date assigned on the participants row is the date the youth stopped receiving grant funded services. A youth is considered to be active in grant funded services if their associated row does not have an end date, and similarly, or in contrast, a youth is considered to be inactive in grant funded services if their associated row does have an end date. So, a youth with a single period of participation over the 2 years of the grant will have one row. We're just using one spreadsheet for both years. So, if they just have a single period of participation over 2 years, they will have one row. Now, it's possible for, it's not very common in the data reporting, but it's possible for a youth to have multiple rows because they have multiple discrete periods of participation. So for example, you might be serving a youth, they move out of state for a time, and then they come back and you re-enroll them. In that case, they've already had an end date in a different quarter. So when they come back, you start a brand new row for that individual. Okay, we're going to go over a little bit of general guidance. Before doing any of the following, make sure that you reach out to your grant manager first, because failure to reach out to your grant manager may result in the data report not being approved. So please do not delete any approved data. And I don't mean that you see a birth date is incorrect and you update it. But do not delete any approved data. Don't copy over any approved data. Remember, the spreadsheet is cumulative. You're adding as you're going along. And be sure that you're entering data into all required fields. Okay, so in terms of data quality and consistency across programs, the Reengagement Data Manual is an immediately available resource if questions arise. Other additional reporting tools are on that dashboard. And of course, ask your grant manager if you have any questions. So in terms of how you get started in re-engagement data reporting, the first step is that your grant manager will provide you with a link to information and a use agreement form where you review the ODE security and privacy protocols and policies and then complete that use agreement. So if you don't have that form link yet, please reach out to your grant manager for that. And so this concludes this video. Thank you so much for watching.